Hello, it's Nick Davies from the Warwickshire School of Hypnotherapy, and today what I want to talk to you about is going to give you a couple of tips on how to change people's behaviour. Just some really simple things for you to use straight away. So what I want you to understand is a couple of things. Is firstly, behaviour has a certain kind of recipe to it. So if you think about when you're trying to make a cake, you've got to have a certain amount of flour, sugar and everything else, all put in certain quantities at certain times, and put it into the oven for a certain temperature and a certain amount of time for it to make the cake. It's exactly the same with some behaviours. So a behaviour, for somebody to say have a real fear of public speaking or something like that, they might need to create pictures that are really big, exaggerated pictures in front of them in their submodality space around here, and might make people's eyes look bigger, faces look more glaring and things like that. And then say something to themselves negative, I'm overwhelmed, I'm no good, or whatever, some old patterns and behaviours, and then a certain number of feelings, like their heart rate may go up, they may perspire, go red, etc, etc. But the order in which those things happen creates that metaphorical cake, if that makes sense. There's two ways we can change behaviours. One way is to scramble this process of how they make their metaphorical cake. So what I do is, when we're questioning clients, it's really break down that, what happens, what's the first recognition they get when they experience that behaviour. Now, that won't be the first thing that happens. What they'll normally do is that generally I'll find is they'll get a feeling, something like, oh, there's a pain in my stomach, butterflies, something like that. That's not the beginning of the process. So what we need to do is we need to say, what happened before that, what happened before that, and what happened before that. And what you do is you get the actual recipe of the cake that they're making. So what you can do is, as they replay this recipe, you can interrupt this recipe, the way this thing is being created, and I'll use humour or distraction. So as the person's doing this, I'll distract them either by cracking jokes, pulling silly faces, shouting out colours, numbers and things like that, so that as we keep going through this process, the recipe gets so scrambled, the cake, obviously, as we all know, if you get one of the ingredients wrong or the process wrong, the cake ends up not rising and not tasting very good. So that's one way, using a scrambling technique to do that. The other thing to remember is, when we're changing behaviours for another behaviour, it's really important that you understand that every behaviour that we have has a certain positive intention and a certain value. And if you're going to change that behaviour, you need to maintain the positive intention of the behaviour, so maybe to keep them safe if they're feeling embarrassed, but also create a value that puts in its place. If you're doing any parts work or anything like that, or replacement therapy, is if you're changing a behaviour like stopping smoking, eating or whatever else, you've got to recognise there's a good reason for it being there. So when you put a behaviour in place, if that's the strategy you're going to use, make sure that behaviour A has the same positive intention, but B the same value. And these are reasons that things don't stick. Does that make sense? So I hope you found that helpful. If you want to study some more of this, I've got some stuff going on. We've got the Blast Technique course coming up, the sports course. We've also got a submodalities workshop. Basically, submodalities are the subsections of our representational system, which in NLP are called modalities. So your vision, your hearing, your feelings, your smells and tastes. We break those down into minute details, and that's how we do the kind of scrambling process. There's a one-day course on that as well. Also, what I'm offering, there's a few people who've been asking me, saying I've taken my hypnotherapy exams and I want to, I'm not using it, so I want to do a refresh course. So I'm doing a 2-day refresh course for a small number of people. So if that's you, I can take up to, let's say 6 people maximum. We're going to do a couple of days, and it's going to be, contact me for details, I'll give you a price, but no more than 6 people. And what we're going to do, we're going to take you back to, basically using hypnosis, how to do proper hypnosis, and hypnotherapy interventions. So it's not going to be a certificated course, it's just an upgraded course for someone. Now you can do this one-to-one, obviously it's more expensive, but if you want to do it as part of a group, we're going to get some people together for a couple of days. If that's something that might interest you, maximum 6 people, just a couple of days revisiting hypnosis and hypnotherapy to get you guys back on it, so you can go back out there and build your confidence, and we'll also do some work on you as well. So if any of that interests you, that last bit, contact me personally, send me an email at info@wsoh.co.uk. If you're interested in any of the courses, as usual, go to www.wsoh.co.uk, click on the workshops link, and you can download them from there. If you're somebody that wants to host me and wants me to come up to your neck of the woods, you want me to run courses for you, contact me, because that's something we've done several times now. I've got a daily rate and some conditions need to be satisfied, and then we can run whatever course you want. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you need any further information, just drop me an email. Okay, take care guys.